Hello everyone, welcome to Crime Search. In this video we will walk through the Alex Murdaugh trial that took place from January 2023 to March 2023. This trial ends the Murdaugh family double homicide case. Aside from the major cases covered in the previous video, the Murdaugh family also faces various other lawsuits. If you would like us to cover them, we will make a short summary going through the rest of the legal issues. If you have not watched the last video, please check it out as it will give you the background information. In June 2021, Maggie Murdaugh and her younger son Paul Murdaugh were found murdered at home. The husband and father Alex Murdaugh became the prime suspect. Other than this double murder, Alex was also suspected of being involved in several other cases a year after the double murder. Alex Murdaugh was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the murder of his wife and son. He also faces 99 counts of financial crimes. The Murdaugh family is a well-known local legal family. Getting involved in multiple cases in addition to the double murder has got this family widespread public attention. This is arguably one of the most sensational and high-profile cases in South Carolina history. For those who are not familiar with the U.S. justice system, here is a short summary. The U.S. Constitution protects defendants charged with felonies with the right to a jury trial. The jury system consists of a team of 12 eligible citizens. After the court debate between the prosecution and the defense concludes, the jury team engages in crucial deliberations. The 12 jurors will decide whether the defendant is guilty or not. Decisions only take effect when all jurors reach a mutual agreement. If there is a disagreement, even if there is only one person who disagrees with everyone, then the debate must continue until all jurors agree. If after a lengthy debate, no agreement can be reached in any case, then the judge will rule the case a mistrial. A new team of the jury will be selected and a new trial will be held at a later date. A retrial is usually also conducted by a different group of judges. The jury has a lot of power and they can decide whether the defendant is guilty or not. The judge will uphold the judicial fairness of the trial and decides the appropriate sentencing after the jury's conviction. January 23, 2023, the selection for the jury began. After 2 days, a team of 6 white females, 2 black females, and 4 white males were selected as the jury with 6 individuals as substitutes. 2 days after the formation of the jury, the trial was open at Colleton County Courthouse. The presiding judge for this trial is 71 years old Clifton B. Newman. He served 4 terms as a South Carolina Circuit Court judge since 2000. He had experience in many high-profile cases. The chief prosecutor of the prosecution is 52 years old Creighton Waters. The leading defense attorney is Dick Harpootlian, who ran for Attorney General of South Carolina. This trial lasted for 6 weeks, a total of 27 court hearings. On the first day, the prosecutor made their first statement. Attorney General Waters said defendant Alex used a shotgun and an AR rifle to kill his wife Maggie and young son Paul at point-blank range. Neither victim had defensive wounds, which means both victims were defenseless. The murderer must be an acquaintance, therefore the killer was Alex. The prosecutor spent more than half an hour building a timeline listing Alex's activities during the time of the incident. Prosecutor Waters said, judging from Alex's cell phone signal records, he was at the crime scene when the murder happened. South Carolina Department of Law Enforcement SLED found a blue raincoat at Alex's parents' house. There were ammunition remnants found on the raincoat and on Alex's car seat and seatbelt. Shelley Smith, the caretaker of Alex's mother, testified that she saw Alex holding a blue tarp and entered her mother's house on the day of the incident. Prosecutors believe what the caretaker saw was the blue raincoat with ammunition remnants on it. For the evidence of mobile phone records submitted by the prosecutors, defense attorney Harpootlian said these cell phone communication records are incomplete and therefore this evidence does not prove that Alex was at the crime scene during the time of death. The defense attorney then played the recording of Alex's 911 calls made in court.
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to ambulance immediately. My wife and child are shot badly.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am, they're on the ground out at my kennel.
Okay, and did you hear anything, or did you come home and find them?
No, ma'am, I've been gone. I just came back.
And you sure they're not breathing?
They're not. Neither one of them's moving.
I don't don't want you to touch them at all, okay? I don't know if you've already touched them, but I don't want you to touch them just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay?
I already touched them trying to get to see if they were breathing.
Okay. Well, I just don't want you to move anything just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay? How old is your son?
22.
Okay. All right. We're getting them out there to you, okay?
Dick Harpootlian emphasized that Alex showed extreme grief and shock on the phone. This is real emotion that cannot be faked. He told the jury Alex had a good relationship with his wife and son. He also described the incident as horrific and cruel, so there's no way Alex could murder Maggie and Paul and leave them lying in their own blood. After clarifying their stands in the opening statement, in the first week of the trial, both sides debated mainly on some physical evidence. The prosecutor pointed out that according to the SLED investigation, Alex used to have 3 AR rifles at home, but now one is missing. At the hunting lodge where the murder happened, investigators found some casings at places other than the crime scene near the bodies. These casings were left when the family was hunting. Laboratory analysis results showed that these casings were ejected from the same AR rifle that was used to kill Maggie. Therefore, the gun that is currently missing should be the murder weapon that Alex got rid of. The defense said the missing rifle was lost 2 months before the murder happened. It is irrelevant to this case. Among all the evidence, the one that was heatedly debated over was the shirt and pants that Alex was wearing the night of the incident. A couple of hours before the incident, Paul sent a short video to his friends. In the video, Alex was wearing a blue t-shirt and khaki pants. The time Paul sent the video was 7:56 p.m. The forensics determined that the time of death was between 9 to 9:30 p.m. Therefore, there was around an hour between the homicide and Paul sending the video. After the homicide, when SLED arrived at the scene, Alex was wearing a white t-shirt and a pair of shorts which were different from his dress in the video. Therefore, the prosecution considers that Alex changed clothes after committing the crime. That white t-shirt was already cut into multiple pieces for laboratory examination, and in the end both sides agreed that the t-shirt was contaminated during transportation, therefore it is invalid as evidence. In the first week, both sides presented some physical evidence and the debate was intense. The time came to week 2. Both sides engaged in a heated debate about Alex's alibi. According to Alex's previous statement, he said he was visiting his mother at the time of the incident, and when he was back at the lodge he saw his wife and son killed. The prosecution made a Snapchat video public for the first time. The video was filmed at 8:44 p.m., only around 15 minutes before the homicide.
Get back! Get back! Quit, Cash. Come. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Paul was the one who filmed the video. The content was about the dog fennel. A voice of a man and a woman can be heard.
That's a guinea.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash.
2 of Alex's friends can testify that the voice was indeed the voice of Alex. Therefore, Alex should be at the crime scene during the time of death. The defense did not directly respond to the video. They continued to use the strategy of portraying the defendant's good image. The defense also played a video in court. This video is about Alex spending time with family and friends during a birthday celebration. Alex appeared to get along well with those around him. The defense wants to tell the jury Alex is still a good husband and father when he is not a serious lawyer. After debating on the alibi, they debated on the motive. The prosecutor brought witness Chris Wilson up in court. He is a friend and a colleague of Alex who works together in the law firm. He pointed out in court that Alex used to embezzle funds from the law firm. Wilson and Alex previously were responsible for a client's case. After the case was settled, Alex gave the client his own bank account instead of the firm's account. He took $790,000 by himself from the firm. When Wilson found out, Alex returned $600,000, but the rest $190,000 was still missing. The prosecutor stated that Alex murdered his wife and son to direct attention away from his series of financial crimes. The defense stated that Alex's financial crime had no relation to the murder of his wife and son, and the prosecutors have a bias against Alex. The defense also stated that the now-deceased Paul faces countless backlashes against him on social media, and the killer of Paul and Maggie could be someone who disliked the Murdaugh family due to the boating accident, and this could be the motive of the murder. Another analyst from the defense team stated that there were no fingerprints on the rifle found at the crime scene, therefore Alex should not be the suspect. The defense held firm on Alex's innocence and stated that the killer should be a third party. During the third week of the trial, both sides continued to debate on the alibi. The prosecutor stated that Alex's mother's caretaker Shelley testified that Alex arrives at his parents' place very late. Shelley also stated that Alex pressured her to tell investigators that Alex was at his parents' place for a very long time, but in fact, he was only there briefly. The prosecutor stated that from Shelley's testament, Alex has been lying about his activities and timeline. According to Alex's mobile phone records, Paul's dog video, and Shelley's testament, it should prove that Alex was at the crime scene when the homicide happened. The prosecutor presented an 88-page long document listing Alex's mobile phone records that built a timeline of Alex's activities. Along with the vehicle records and other assisting evidence, the prosecutor team gained the upper hand regarding the alibi. Both sides still heatedly debated about the motive. The prosecutors maintained their statement about the financial crime relating to the double homicide, while the defense team argued the financial crimes had no relation to the double homicide. February 7, 2023, Judge Newman declared that the financial crimes had relations to the double homicide. After that, the prosecutors listed more evidence about Alex's financial crimes. The Murdaugh law firm CFO Gene Seckinger testified that Alex embezzled the firm's funds. The death of Alex's housekeeper Gloria Satterfield, which happened 5 years ago, suspected to be related to Alex. Gloria's two sons testified that Alex stole the insurance payment from them, therefore Alex does not have high financial credibility. Alex's friend Wilson testified again to confirm Alex's embezzlement. The defense team still maintained the same strategy of portraying Alex as a good husband and father. During the fourth week, the debate started with the topic of forensic evidence. Rachel Nguyen, the forensic scientist of the prosecution team, presented evidence. She stated the blood samples on the steering wheel of Alex's car and on the shotgun are mixed with blood from Maggie and Alex. The defense asked Rachel if there are chances that the analysis was affected by contamination. Rachel replied that there are chances the samples had contact with other substances during the analysis, and if so, the positive test result may be invalid. The defense team was trying to show that the forensic analysis might not be accurate enough to be used as evidence. However, Rachel firmly stated that they have taken extra steps to validate the test results, and there were definitely blood samples from Maggie and Alex on the shotgun. Other than Rachel, SLED forensic scientist Sarah Zapata testified that there were DNA samples that belonged to an unknown male found in Maggie's fingernails. The DNA samples were incomplete, which means DNA comparison was impossible to conduct. Later, the defense team brought up the staged suicide orchestrated by Alex and his cousin Curtis that happened 2 years ago. The defense pointed that Curtis was a substance dealer who provided products to Alex. Initially, Curtis made a lot of money and had good cash flow. Later, he got into multiple debts and his cash flow was depleting. The defense was trying to hint that Curtis might sold Alex out to his debt collector, and those people might be the ones who murdered Maggie and Paul. During week 5 of the trial, Alex's defense attorney posted tweets on Twitter criticizing the SLED investigation. Judge Newman soon received an email about the tweets. He warned the defense attorney not to post anything related to the trial on social media while the trial is ongoing. Alex's defense attorney promised not to do it again. Later during week 5, Alex's older son Buster testified for the defense team as a witness. He stated that Alex had a lot of firearms and he would leave them scattered around all family properties. The AR rifle investigated by SLED was one that Alex and Paul bought together during Christmas. However, Paul's rifle went missing. Buster stated the family relationship was good and they would often spend weekends and holidays together. Buster even presented a family photo. Chief Prosecutor Waters asked Buster what happened on the night of the incident. Buster stated that he was spending time with his GF when he received a call from Alex telling him his mom and Paul were shot dead. Then he headed towards the hunting lodge with his girlfriend. They headed out around 10:30 to 11 p.m. and arrived around 2 a.m. The prosecutors suddenly asked Buster the date of birth of his father Alex, and Buster could not answer the question. Therefore, it shows that the family is not as close as the defense team presented. Later, the defense team tried to use witness testament to debate the prosecution team. They stated that from forensic ballistic analysis, the killer should be around 157 to 162 centimeters tall. Alex is 193 centimeters tall, therefore according to the ballistics, Alex had to bring the gun below his knees to shoot Maggie to create such a wound, which is not very likely. The prosecutor pointed out there is the possibility of the casings being moved during the investigation. Both sides agree that SLED did not protect the scene according to SOP, which could move the casings and affected the ballistic results. February 23, 2023, this is the 21st court hearing. Alex decided that he will be willing to testify for himself, which is very rare for defendants. Usually, the defendants would let the defense team testify for them to prevent any mistakes. However, this time Alex decided that he will speak for himself. When asked if he killed Maggie and Paul, Alex continuously denied the claim. When asked about his alibi, he finally revealed that he lied to the SLED. He lied about his activities on the night of the incident. Dinner was not the last time he saw Paul and Maggie. Due to taking substances for a long time, his mentality has been affected by the substance. He was not thinking straight on the night of the incident, so he did not tell the truth to SLED because he did not trust the police and was afraid that he would become the suspect if he told everything. He continuously apologized for the death of Paul and Maggie. He also stated he would never hurt them. The defense attorney presented Alex's activities on the day of the incident. Alex went to work in the morning and Maggie went to visit the doctor. Alex arrived at the estate to ride horses with Paul in the afternoon. Maggie arrived at the estate around 8 p.m. They changed clothes and had dinner. Then Alex went to visit his mother, and when he came back, both Paul and Maggie were dead. Alex also pointed out where he parked the car and his activities when he arrives at his mother's place. He also listed out the details of his conversation with his mother. According to Alex's vehicle records, Alex stopped for 1 minute on the way back to the hunting lodge. The prosecution asked him if he stopped to get rid of weapons, but Alex denied it. Alex stated that he saw the lights were still on around the hunting lodge but did not see Maggie and Paul. He thought they had gone out, so he dialed their number, but no one answered. When the attorney asked Alex what happened next, Alex did not answer directly. He began to cry and said everyone saw the picture of Maggie and Paul. Alex stated that he tried to check Paul's pulse and Paul's phone slid out of Paul's pocket and Alex put it back. He also touched Maggie to check on her. The defense attorney stated that the bloodstains found in his car might be from Alex checking on Maggie and Paul. When asked about the t-shirt he was wearing, Alex appeared to be angry and said in a loud voice that he knew there were no bloodstains on the t-shirt, and the prosecution lied the entire time. When asked about his addiction to substances, Alex stated that it started when he got an injury back when he was doing football at university. He has been battling the addiction since. The defense attorney then asked him about what he thought about his wife Maggie. Alex was crying and stated a lot of good things about Maggie. It seemed the defense team continued to use the same strategy by portraying Alex as a good husband with real emotions. The attorney played the 911 call again and asked Alex why he said, "I should have known." Alex stated that Paul has been receiving threats about the boating accident. He thinks those people who hate Paul did it. In the afternoon, the prosecution takes the turn to ask questions. The prosecution asked a series of questions regarding the Mallory boating accident. They were using these questions to show Alex tried to use the family fame and privilege to bribe the police. Alex had the family badge placed at a conspicuous location on his body. He even accessed areas that only the police were allowed to access. The prosecution also hinted that the boating accident should not be the motive behind the double homicide, therefore it was not done by a third party, it was Alex all along. Then the prosecution asked a series of questions about his financial crime of how Alex scammed money from his clients. The prosecution was trying to use these questions to portray Alex as a serial liar. Alex admitted that he took money that did not belong to him. His defense attorney argued back that the current discussion is not related to the homicide. Alex appeared to be very emotional, not very composed and cool like a professional lawyer, which would have effects on the decision of the jury. The time came to week 6, which was the final week of the trial. Both sides once again engaged in a heated debate on forensic evidence. Two forensic scientists on the defense side stated that in order for Paul to die like that, the killer should have shot Paul close up and from above. The killer should have had a large amount of blood all over his body. The analysis of the wound on Paul's body showed that the killer was around 90 centimeters from Paul. Since Maggie and Paul were not that close together, there should be two killers who murdered Maggie and Paul simultaneously using two different weapons. Analyst on the prosecution side Kenneth Kinsey refuted such an argument. He stated that Paul's fatal injury was a not close contact injury. Therefore, the number of killers cannot be determined. Prosecution witness Dr. Ellen Reimer stated that after analysis and experiment, the results showed that the bullet made entry above Paul's left shoulder and exited from the left side of the skull. If the injury was a close contact injury, then Paul would suffer more damage to his head and upper body. However, his entire face did not suffer any damage. After the debate on the forensics, Alex's good friend and co-worker Ronnie Crosby testified that the person who showed up in Paul's dog fennel video was indeed Alex. He also stated that he had to cover for Alex's financial frauds and pay the firm losses from his own pocket. He even had to take out loans to do so. The defense team tried to hint that this is the motive of why Ronnie was willing to testify for the prosecution. But Ronnie did not appear angry or agitated. Even when the defense attorney asked Ronnie if he is angry about Alex's financial crimes, Ronnie stated he feels indifferent about them. However, the defense attorney did not give up and pursued him with more questions about his feelings toward Alex. Finally, Ronnie stated that yes, he is not happy about what Alex did to him, the firm, and their clients, but he did not testify for financial reasons. He chose to testify for Maggie and Paul's lives. The time came for the closing of the trial. On March 1, 2023, the 12 jurors went to the crime scene for a final inspection. On March 2, a juror was disqualified due to leaking trial information to irrelevant personnel. March 3, after the last court hearing and nearly 3 hours of jury discussion, Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In summary, the prosecution took the strategy of portraying Alex as a serial scam artist and objectively refuted the subjective statements presented by the defense team on the topic of alibi, forensics, and motive. Even though the defense team tried their best to portray Alex as a good husband and Alex himself also expressed strong real emotions during the trial, the jury still did not believe them. Alex's older son Buster supported Alex throughout the trial, but even he would sometimes show doubting expression when hearing Alex's statements. This is the end of the double homicide case. Alex still faces at least 99 charges of financial crimes including fraud, money laundering, and embezzlement. Alex at least scammed more than $8.7 million, which could result in more than 700 years in prison. If you guys are interested in more cases that the Murdaugh family was involved, we can do a summary video or several shorts to cover them. As for now, Alex remains a scam artist and a serial liar to the public. He will spend his time in prison, and this is the downfall of the Murdaugh family. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay alert.